I'm James Bergman, also known as Ahead of the Curve, and it's good to be back on camera, and back in general, actually. It's been, yeah, I mean, I've posted a couple of videos recently, and initially I was actually going to do kind of an update video, like a video like today, before, and I was just like, you know what, I don't want to kind of procrastinate on putting out a good video. I wanted to put out two good videos first, to get everybody back in the rhythm, me included, and then do this kind of video because I don't know. I just wanted to be really back in the game and know that I know what I'm doing in a way, because it has been a while since I have posted. Like it's been, apart from the two videos that I've posted recently, it's actually been a while, like a number of months, like 4 months or something, or 5 months perhaps even, because of finishing university, which I get my results back soon for that. So for those who don't know, I have now finished a degree in psychology, and I'm planning to do a master's in philosophy next. And yeah, so I was kind of focusing on that entirely. I was just trying to make sure that it was, that I was going to get good grades and that I knew what I was doing and that my mind wasn't in a different place. Anyway, so yeah, that's kind of an update, and I'm back to normal, and I'm, more focused on doing philosophy rather than psychology now, which is cool. And yeah, no, today I just wanted to kind of just have that brief update with you guys. And I've got some books that I want to show you. These have been books that I've been reading kind of relatively recently, or, maybe a couple months ago, or even yesterday for that matter. And it's, yeah, I mean, this video won't be long, I don't think. But yeah, I just wanted to get back on camera. To be honest, I don't have any plans for being back on camera for an upcoming video that I have in mind. I don't know, because I'm really liking this essay format that I've been posting. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, my traditional book reviews, I don't know if, I think I'm going to post another one of those, but I don't know, because for example, I went to do a book review of Contempt, which I'm going to be talking about in a minute. And for those who've seen the video, I thought that turned out quite well, and I was very happy with it. And when I was doing the book review, the traditional kind of book review that I do on camera, face to camera, I was halfway through and I was like, this just isn't as good as it could be. And I get kind of like self-aware, or self-conscious of the videos that I publish sometimes. I'm like, is this really worth publishing? And it turns out that most of the time it goes down well and you guys like it, but in my head I'm just debating it, whether it's good enough. And yeah, so I kind of had this thought with my original recording of Contempt, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to write a video essay of this. I'm going to make sure that I go really, really in depth. And yeah, and I just really like that format. It's just, it does take longer in this grand scheme of things, because I need to write this really succinct kind of in depth, and there's a lot of research. So yeah, it does take a bit longer, but to be honest with you, I think it's fresh, and I really like it because of that. Just gonna have a sip of coffee. So I want to get into the books that I have been reading recently, or I am reading. And this probably isn't all of them, by the way. Well, it definitely isn't all of them, because yeah, I've just been reading a lot, because there was, like I was saying, when I wasn't posting on YouTube for a while, I also wasn't reading that much. And if I was, it was, papers on near-death experiences, which my dissertation was on, which I'm hoping to share with you guys at some point, but I think I'm just going to wait until it's officialized and, all of my university is done, and then I'm going to do something like that. Maybe, a video or whatever. I did actually have a near-death experience video in the works, but I wasn't happy with that. And yeah, anyway, I'm going off track. Hope I'm not boring anyone. But again, this video is supposed to be chilled out and relaxed for anybody who, is interested in what I've been doing. So yeah, anyway, so to get into the first book, now I'm actually reading this at this very moment. And I was looking at I was looking at copies of this, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is cool. This edition is cool, but look at this, The Savage God by A. Alvarez. This is a book about suicide, really? No. Yeah, it's a study of that topic. And it was recommended to me by a friend, and I picked it up, and so far it's really, really good. I mean, he talks about Sylvia Plath at the start and what happened to her, and I like her poetry as well. And yeah, I mean, it's just a kind of a, suicide literature, background of the topic. So it's a really interesting book at the moment. And I'm planning to have content on that coming very soon. Okay. So next, so this has also been a book that I have been reading in the past few days, Dickinsons Poetry. Now, it's been a while since I've read a lot of poetry. I mean, I've got Edna Malay's poetry in the same Everyman edition, pocket editions. These are really nice. I love these small little books. I love these editions, and also I just want to be more acquainted with poetry, because I just think it's a good break from hard philosophy or psychology or something like that. I think that it's important to widen our horizons and have literary, different avenues that we can pass down, and so far I'm really liking her poetry. It's quite philosophical at times. It's religiously inspired at points as well, which isn't a bad thing, because that just means it's kind of, I don't know, unique to her interpretation, which is cool. So yeah, I've been reading this, Dickinson's Poetry. A book that I did contemplate reviewing, to be honest with you, and this is Red Dragon by Thomas Harris. This is a novel, a crime novel, a psychological novel. And for those of you who know Hannibal Lecter, this is the book that his first appearance. And I read this a number of years ago. It was a number of years ago now. It was actually one of the first books that I read when I was getting into reading. And at the time I loved it, and it's very philosophical, psychological, it's very deep. Will Graham is like a very deep character. He's a very deep character study in this book. And obviously Hannibal Lecter is iconic in the piece. Even though he's not really in it that much, but it's kind of that thing where it's like, less is more, I think, that this book kind of stands for. And also there are so many different characters that are really interesting, as well as Hannibal, like Will Graham, the Tooth Fairy, the serial killer, etc. So, and this is actually a first edition, UK edition, which was sent to me by a friend, which I'm very appreciative of. It's really cool. And I'd recommend it for anyone who wants to read like a solid psychological novel. Which, I don't really read that many crime novels. I don't really read any apart from the Hannibal Lecter series, just because Thomas Harris, I think, the author, he's just beyond, far beyond the stuff that you see on normal shelves. Like, he's just so good, and I really recommend Red Dragon. Next is Alberto Moravia's Contempt. Yeah, so you guys know this from my recent video. I don't really need to say much about this because I've already done that in my video essay, but this is just, it's the psychology of a kind of a decaying marriage, as you know, and it's very psychological, at times philosophical. And I actually read this because I love the film, and I was like, and I didn't actually realize the film was based on a book, and I was like, immediately I just had to read it, and I finished it within a few days. And actually it's one of the books that got me out of the reading slump that I was in because I was studying so much, and this kind of saved my reading enthusiasm. This book is just, it's short, to the point, what we all want with a book a lot of the time. So, and yeah, William Shakespeare's Hamlet. I preferred Macbeth, to be honest. I don't know, Hamlet seemed a bit less concise, and there's lots of different versions available as well. And yeah, it was good and it's iconic, obviously, but I just didn't really like it as much as Macbeth. I mean, it's okay. Like it's, somebody's probably going to crucify me for saying Shakespeare's okay, but yeah, it was good. It was good. It wasn't Macbeth, but yeah. So you guys already know about Shakespeare, I imagine, anyway. This is a book that I read for my university course, and I used it to reference points and things like that. And actually, it's co-authored by one of my lecturers, which is really awesome. And so, yeah, this is making sense of near-death experiences, a handbook for clinicians, and multiple authors. I'm not even going to pronounce a lot of them, to be honest. Anyway, you can search that, making sense of near-death experiences. So yeah, it's a very thin book. It's also kind of dense in that regard, but what I like about this book in particular is that whilst it is a book by clinicians, or for and by clinicians and researchers, it doesn't actually read that way. Like, yeah, sure, it's very professional, but the style is actually very engaging, and surprisingly so as well. And it's not many people have read it either, and it is like a really good book. Like, if you are interested in studying the topic of near-death experiences and the psychology and the potential philosophical and religious implications of the phenomena, then this book is probably what you want to read, as well as An Introduction to Parapsychology by Irwin. I can't even remember his first name now. That's annoying. Anyway, so yeah, this is a book that was recommended to me by the same lecturer that I had at university, and this was written in like the 1990s or late 80s, I think. And yeah, this could be seen to be a little outdated at this point, but actually, I don't believe it is necessarily, because the research hasn't as such progressed in a very large way. So yeah, and I'll tell you what's in it as well. So parapsychology, I didn't actually discuss what that means. It's the psychology of kind of like the paranormal, as you may have guessed. And for instance, there are many different facets of this topic. Psychokinesis, extrasensory perception and time, theories of psi, survival hypothesis, poltergeist experiences, near-death experiences, out-of-body experiences, apparitional experiences, so ghosts, even though I don't really like that term because it definitely damages the reputation of that subject if you call it by the films and all that. Anyway, reincarnation experiences, matters of relevance, and yeah, scientific enterprise. So it is, if you want to look into near-death experiences as a topic, if you actually want to take it seriously instead of just dismissing it immediately, like many people do, and kind of understandably, just because it is a very controversial topic and people have a lot of knee-jerk reactions to subjects without actually investigating it. I'm not saying my opinion on parapsychology necessarily changed from me studying it, but it gave me an understanding that was way, way more nuanced in comparison to my previous one, which is really what matters, right? Is to have a high resolution conceptualization of our thoughts, of our arguments, and that is, to me, what's important, to have good arguments, to have high resolution thoughts, So yeah, I'd recommend that. So yeah, as you guys would have guessed, Machiavelli's Discourses. I actually read The Prince a while ago, like a long time ago, and I didn't have it here obviously because I haven't been reading it, but I read it a while ago, and I actually picked up this Discourses at a bookshop in Cambridge, and it was hidden away in a little corner, and my friend found it, and I was if we didn't pick another, there were two paths, and if we didn't pick that path, then I never would have found it, and maybe I probably wouldn't have done the video that I did without that happening. It's just strange how things like that happen, although I'm not gonna say it's in any way paranormal though. But yeah, Machiavelli's Discourses, it's quite a dense book, and it's very heavily political, but some chapters are much more engaging than others. For example, the particular section on religion, I just thought was really, really good, very insightful. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of required reading if you want to understand Machiavelli, to be honest, because a lot of people only know his Prince, and fair enough, the Prince is the Prince. It's obviously a masterpiece for a reason. But I think the discourses, it really is kind of an extended version of the Prince, and more generalized to politics, which is also why it's more dense and harder to read, etc., etc. But it's definitely worth watching, or reading, sorry. Okay, so I haven't actually started this properly, but I am moving on to The Silence of the Lambs after finishing Red Dragon. Yeah, I mean, this has got lots more Hannibal in it, as many of you all know from the film by Jonathan Demme. Yeah, no, I want to get stuck into this because I read all the Hannibal Lecter books years ago, and yeah, I'm looking forward to getting myself back into it. And the last one that I have, again, quite a general book that I've just been flicking in and out of, but it's called Hitler's Secret Weapons of Mass Destruction, the Nazi Plan for Final Victory, by Michael Fitzgerald. So yeah, I mean, it kind of does what it says on the tin, to be honest. It's a book on their secret weapons, and I'm very interested in World War II history. And I've read a lot of kind of Holocaust survivor testimonies, other books on that. Yeah, and this is just another one that I'm in the middle of reading. So yeah, that is all. I'm just going to have a sip of coffee. So there's not much else I really want to say for this video. I just wanted to be on camera again. I wanted to just have this kind of small update with you guys and show you some books that I've been reading. Yeah, so thank you for all of your engagement on my two recent videos and my essays. I'm really grateful for your feedback. It means everything to me, because as I said, when I post a video, sometimes I feel, is it good enough? Is it in depth enough? Is it too in depth? Is it convoluted and all this kind of stuff? It's kind of a creator's curse in a way. So yeah, and also in context to more discussions, because I posted a lot of discussions before podcasts. Yeah, I mean, at the moment I haven't got anything planned. The thing is, I did, and then some things fell through for many reasons. I'm also hopefully going to, I'm not really going to say too much about this, but I'm hoping to do debates at some point soon, and I will repost that to my channel, because it will be, if it does go through, it will happen on their channel, the debate channel. And yeah, so I'm hoping to do some of that as well. But in terms of discussions, yeah, I mean, I've got some coming, but I don't have, it's kind of a work in progress. I'm doing one thing at a time at the moment. Anyway, enough of me rambling. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you're all doing well. And yeah, just thanks again for your support on my recent videos. Yeah, and I will post more in due course. All right, guys, I'll stop rambling. I'll see you in the next video.